Welcome to the Month End Show, the show where we bring you all the best bits of MEDDICC media from this month and more. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up on this episode.
Yeah, they're very senior, and therefore we don't want to bother them.
Yeah, and they only care about pricing.
Yeah. And actually, that's a massive red flag for your selling.
MEDDICC created a way that I could remove blinders and myopathy in my own deals.
Anyone can be a top salesperson in a company that nobody has ever heard of. It's like boasting about being the sharpest knife in a drawer full of spoons.
It's the end of August 2023 and I hope you've had a great month. First, let's dive in with a clip from a recent episode of MEDMEN where we talk about the mistakes sellers make by assuming that economic buyers aren't interested in the solution. Roll the tape, Ali.
And I think one of the mistakes I see that people make frequently is they assume that because this person is typically more senior, that they're not going to be interested. That they're just like some sort of line in the approval process, and therefore, we just need to sort of spend as little of that. They're very senior, and therefore we don't want to bother them.
Yeah, and they only care about pricing.
Yeah. And actually, that's a massive red flag for your selling.
Yeah,
because that would tell me that if we use something like the value pyramid, you are too far down on the value pyramid. Because if you're selling correctly, then you should be making sure you're attaching to the most important things to that organization. And by nature, the economic buyer is going to care most about those things. So the idea of them not being interested, something's gone wrong there massively.
If you like that clip, you can catch the whole episode in the links below. Okay, it's time to go over to everybody's favorite bit from the pilot, our live reporter in the field, Randy Blonc. Randy, are you there?
Hi, yes, Andy, I am live on LinkedIn, and this month... wait, hang on. What is that on Ali's t-shirt?
Yes, I meant to tell you about that. Yep, that's your merch.
Crikey, my own merch! Wowzers, my mum will be proud. Anyways, this month, as per usual, I'm calling out shenanigans on LinkedIn, like this absolute stonker here. This person says, going to Cardiff on the train. Here's a thought. Let's have a network section on the train so like-minded people like me can network with other passengers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm actually all for this idea. We should make it happen. Let's advertise it, make everyone know about it, and then once all of the dweebs who like this kind of thing are inside, we can lock the doors and keep these muppets away from the rest of us. I mean, perhaps we could attach the carriage to a different train, and then we set it on a different course, and maybe, just maybe, there happens to be a
Whoa. Stop. It's only episode 2, Randy. Let's at least get a few more episodes in before you get us cancelled.
Okay, but you may rethink my approach when you see this Muppet's profile.
Okay, here we go.
I mean, who is this headline for?
Well, it's not for the salesperson's prospects, that's for sure. Although, it must be working because it says there are 4 times top salesperson.
A what? Anyone can be a top salesperson in a company that nobody has ever heard of. It's like boasting about being the sharpest knife in a drawer full of spoons. My point here is, whether or not these are amazing achievements, they serve no purpose other than to caress the ego of the person whose profile they're on. A prospective customer is likely to see this with indifference at best, but it's most likely that they'll roll their eyes and assume the person is pretentious and bombastic, meaning they're less likely to want to meet you. The actual worst culprits of this kind of shenanigans are the sales leaders. Take a look at this Muppet, voted #1 leader. In what? Sorry, Zelensky. Hand over your Time Person of the Year award. This guy was a top 100 sales leader. Pep Guardiola, sorry mate, I know you won the Premier League, the Champions League, the Super Cup, and the FA Cup, but this Muppet here is a kind of a big deal in sales leadership. Santa Marin, yes, I know you did a brilliant job managing COVID and getting Finland accepted into NATO, but what are pandemics and a global defense alliance compared to power hours and channel alliances? Lionel Messi, Ime Udoka, Greta Thunberg, Elon, Tina Thompson, Kristalina Georgieva, sorry folks, you just don't get a look in. Oh, it really is simple, alright. When you're approaching LinkedIn with your headline, just ask yourself, who is this for the benefit of, me or my prospects? It's not about selling or some robotic pitch. In fact, my favorite headlines are the ones that show your personality too. Take a look at these few, for example. And even if you are straight to business, it's 1,000,000 times better than boasting about yourself. That's about all I can handle this week, Andy. Back to you in the studio.
Well, thank you, Randy. I think we all know what we need to do now. profiles that serve our customers. Okay, coming up next is a clip from Masters of MEDDICC. This month, I spoke to David Weiss about all things MEDDICC, discovery, and sales. Now, David is one of those people that make our industry great. He truly gets sales and what it takes to be a top performer. And instead of keeping all that knowledge to himself, he shares it with people like you and me. Here's David talking about how MEDDICC made him successful.
I've rarely met a seller, especially top performer seller, that doesn't get myopic, that doesn't look at their deal and think, I'm running a good sales process.
Right.
I know how to sell. I've rarely met someone that's really good at a craft. That's like, I need help. I'm failing. But MEDDICC did that for me. MEDDICC created a way that I could remove blinders and myopathy in my own deals and scientifically, objectively show me where I may have something I'm not seeing. Right. And that, to me, is the power and the beauty and behind it is it gives you that lens, that and common language and common view. So you can ask for help of people that also know this thing and they can see it and help you in the way that they know you need because of it. That without it, man, I don't ever think I would have been as successful as I am.
Okay, now it's time for a commercial break.
Hey, you there. You, salesperson. Do you know how important it is to do discovery? But do you always do it? Do you really? Is it because you find it hard? Are all those discovery scripts that you've downloaded from the gurus hard to organize? Well, stress no more with the new Disco Deck. On a call with a prospect and you can't think of a discovery question to ask? Just hit the Disco Deck.
What keeps you awake at night? Who else cares about this? What happens if you don't solve this?
For just $99.99, it could be yours. Buy today and we'll include 3 free plugins. Is the customer not answering your questions? You'll need Threatening Discovery plugin.
What keeps you awake at night?
Selling to a Star Wars fan? Try the new Chewbacca edition. Asking a difficult question? Use the Sing-Along plugin to get your prospect to answer without worrying.
What is your budget? What is your budget? What is your budget? What is your budget?
Order your Disco Deck today. Available from all good LinkedIn sales gurus.
There you have it, the Disco Deck. I'll tell you what's been keeping me awake at night. It's all the times I've been asked recently by salespeople, what is keeping me awake at night? Moving on, this month we uploaded the KeyGoat documentary that followed the run-up and delivery of a keynote at a top tier company, CrowdStrike's SKO. The full documentary is linked below, but here's a cheeky trailer.
Decided to work on the keynote. As I looked around, Microsoft somehow managed to crash. I'm not sure if I'll ever truly understand the ins and the outs of a creative process. The KeyGoat doesn't represent us saying we're the goats of keynote. It's that our aspiration is to do the absolute most killer job.
Let's get stuck straight into it.
That's it, friends. Don't forget, we've got MEDDICCON coming up in just a couple of weeks. We'll see you next month. And until then, may your champions be strong.